All right, folks, we are starting off August with a fun little interview here. We have our good friend here, Jay Anson from Palau, coming in, and he works for the Digital Ministry of Finance over there in Palau. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us, Jay.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Now, you caught the attention of the XRP community, and we're really looking forward to hearing what's taking place with this pilot project. US dollar backed stablecoin on the XRP Ledger. Very exciting stuff. But I wanted to take a little bit of time here to provide some context. Many folks, including myself, don't know too much about Palau. So I was looking through the Wikipedia, trying to run through the numbers, and looks like you're at about a population of about 18,000 people, small island country. But very excited for this project that you got going here. But I wanted to start off with what makes Palau a great place to live?
No, there's so many different aspects of it. It's just it's island life. It's pretty laid back. You use the U.S. dollar, so it's pretty stable as far as the economy. It's easy to get everywhere, and again, it's just the weather, the temperature stays a pretty good 78 to 82 degrees thereabouts, and now that the different international flights and airways are getting coming online, and there's more ways to get in and out of Palau, it's getting that much better.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been learning a lot by following you on Twitter. So everyone needs to make sure that they follow Jay over on Twitter because he's been giving us updates on it all. Now, you are the Digital Residency Office Director, and
Yes.
this program is relatively new. You were telling me a little bit about it before we got started here, but you were saying that we're at about a 4% corporate tax rate if you're looking to create a company in Palau, and a digital residency will allow you to start a company and this is something that you guys have started just a year ago, you were telling me?
Yeah, so the law was passed in December of 2021 for the digital residency program, and then it took a few months around February for our service provider, Cryptic Labs, to get the RNS system online and start receiving applications. Then we went through kind of a burn-in process of initial operating capability. Then around June, July of 2022 is when we were really into full production. We had the AML KYC systems fully operational, and we had a reliable system going, and we could start producing the ID cards at scale. Around that time, we were probably at 600 digital residents total. Not a lot, but we've since improved our processes. We've done a lot of messaging and marketing of the program, and we're just shy of 9,000 digital residents right now.
Wow. And it really sounds like Palau is trying to move into utilizing Web3 DLT technologies, obviously choosing the XRP Ledger for the stablecoin. So can you comment on Palau and why they're leaning into this technology in such a massive way?
Well, our president is driving a lot of these initiatives, and so President Whips, he's a pretty savvy businessman. He understands the different systems. He understands the technology and what's out there. He knows how to kind of separate the good stuff from the bad stuff, and focus us on what he sees is going to have potential moving forward. So then one of his big initiatives is to diversify the economy. Tourism carried the economy for many years. Then we saw coming out of the pandemic and the lockdown, where Palau had closed its borders, they lost 40% of the revenue and economy overnight. So this is, and then, it provided opportunity, like in a lot of other places. You start exploring other things, and with the installation of fiber optic cable from Guam to Palau. That's going to increase the available bandwidth. And so in parallel to those initiatives to improve the technology and the infrastructure in Palau, getting these types of fintech initiatives started and going through the pilot process to proof concepts is pretty important.
Well, I can tell you as a citizen of America who feels like he pays a little bit too much in taxes and some of my tax dollars are not being appropriated properly, I would say that's a different conversation. But I think that you guys are going to be able to take advantage of that, as many folks, especially in crypto too, and business owners too, that want to set up their businesses in a jurisdiction like yours that is more business friendly, less taxes, and obviously you guys have perfect weather as well, so you got that going for you. I wanted to ask you though, one last thing on Palau, the economy there, the local economy, how has it been doing? How has it been recovering? You said that you lost about half the revenue for the country after the pandemic and the country had to shut down. How's the recovery gone so far for Palau?
It's slowly coming around. The tourism is probably at 40% where it was pre-pandemic levels. One of the issues or shortfalls is just we're not getting as many tourists from China as we were before the pandemic. There's a lot of reasons for that. Palau recognizes Taiwan for one. So we've gone to other partners, Australia, Papua New Guinea, South Korea, Japan, to try and rally their support and get them to send tourists to Palau and help support us, and then vice versa. We're helping to support them with different business infrastructure and sending tourists to their countries. Palauans do like to travel, and it's a lot more. It's a lot easier now because there's more flights out instead of just the one flight on United Airlines through Guam, which was I think a 2 a.m. departure, and then maybe a 6 or 7 hour layover in Guam, and then you get your connecting flight to go to other places. Where now there's we have 6 different options. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Now, since you mentioned it, I got to ask, and I saw that you had shared something on Twitter about the most recent cyber attacks to the U.S. systems that came out of China. And you actually shared a post on the significance of that and kind of what it was all entailing in that. And so what is the situation right now? You said that you've lost a lot of the tourists from that region. Are you seeing pickup in military activity in that area? Is there anything like that going on?
So for the region, there's a lot more activity in the sense of China flexing on Taiwan, and Taiwan's running more exercises as they should. All good militaries will have off-the-shelf plans that they can exercise, and a lot of it's being done with the different international partners, including the United States. So they just finished a pretty major joint multinational exercise that included Palau with I think they had soldiers from France, or military forces from France, the U.S., Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan.
I see. That's awesome. Thank you for that update. Now, for the part that everybody's waiting for, we want to talk about this stablecoin. First off, can you explain why Palau? We've been talking about how they're leaning into this technology, but can you reiterate the points on why Palau wanted to create this stablecoin backed by the U.S. dollar?
So, the currency in Palau, of course, is the U.S. dollar. There is, but with that, not having your own central bank, you're subject to the monetary policy and the economic policies of another country. And Palau is just one country that uses the U.S. dollar. Then you have like the Federated States of Micronesia and the Marshall Islands. They use the U.S. dollar, and then the rest of the Pacific, the smaller islands, they use the Australian currency. And then they have to deal with whatever Australia's currency stuff is. And then the islands are all spread out, so you have to put the money on a plane and mail it to Palau on pallets, and so that creates a money supply issue. Using cash for all your transactions, small transactions, people have to carry it around in small denominations. There's and it's not just like the dollars or the coins. It's heavy. It's for you and I, in the U.S. Like I go to the store now. I don't have any cash. I never carry cash with me. I can't even think of a reason why I would have cash with me. I use my phone. I just use Apple Pay or whatever, and pay for everything at the store. Or if I have to, I'll use a credit card. Plowmans don't have those options, and so we kind of looked at different models. Especially in many African countries, they skipped the hard wire infrastructure for telecommunications and just went to satellite and cellular phone networks, and all their transactions are done with their phone. Every plowman has a smartphone. Every age category, demographic, they all use a smartphone. So we just want to find a way and a technology that allows them to use what they have in a better way. And so looking at a stable coin was a way to digitize the US dollar, and instead of moving all these small amounts of money around, you can just do it with your phone.
Yeah, and so it sounds like you have a large population that is underbanked or completely unbanked. And we were talking beforehand about how there's only a couple options for banks in the islands there. And so,
Right,
can you speak a little bit more on that and how the regulators, the regulators in the United States, are they having any impact on that as well, and what you guys are doing?
Right now, not too much. I mean, we we started looking at this. So when I came on board in June of last year and took over the director's office, they were already in initial talks with Ripple. So I joined the conversations and the meetings and started forming a solution design. And the initial intent was to launch the pilot in November of last year, of 2022. But then the FTX thing happened, and so it wasn't popular. Of course, anything to do with crypto was kind of hands off. Let's wait and see what happens, because everything in Palau, you have to have congressional and presidential authority to do anything with the government. So it just wasn't a good time. But we took advantage of that time and took another look at the solution design, kind of relooked our use cases of why it's important for Palauans to be able to move small amounts of money around easier. We did some surveys and incorporated all of that. And then we looked at March for another launch. And then the Silicon Valley Bank incident happened. So again, we stood down, but then we kind of ramped up our education campaign with the users and with the retailers. There's frequently asked questions on our webpage that we pushed out. We did town halls. Ripple went to Palau and they did town halls with groups of people to explain to them what we were doing. And actually, we learned we had a lot of lessons learned from that as well, which we incorporated into the solution design again, and then we were ready to roll out with it last month.
Now, did Ripple approach the country of Palau, or was it Palau that reached out to Ripple? Do you know?
I'm not really sure. From what I understand is the president was in the U.S. for something else, uh, probably talking, in initial talks with the digital residency program with Cryptic Labs, when they ran into someone from Ripple in the San Francisco office, and they pitched them on the CBDC concept, and President Whips, being the way he is, said, "Hey, why don't we see if we can explore this, do some due diligence, and see if there's a use case for Palau."
So let's talk about what's working well with the pilot so far and what limitations we see coming and when we're going to start to scale this thing up. But first off, for folks that don't realize what's taking place here, we've had multiple CBDC pilot projects that are on the private version of the XRP Ledger that Ripple created. From my understanding and what we're seeing and watching on chain, this Palau stablecoin project is actually on the XRP Ledger mainnet. So why did you guys decide to go on the public mainnet, and what is working well so far with the pilot?
Yeah, so part of the reason we went on the public ledger has to do with what the public support. Palau wanted to be very transparent with what was going on. There wasn't a very high level of understanding of what we were trying to do. There's a huge association of money laundering with cryptocurrency. Anytime you hear about Bitcoin and the volatility and everything. So we want to be as transparent as possible, and that's why we're using the public ledger. Anyone can go in and see the transactions and see, no one's moving millions of dollars of anything and hiding it. Everyone's wallet is traceable. If someone were to lose their PSC, there's a way to recover it. Find out where it went. If you're tricked somehow into giving up your credentials and your PSC is stolen, we're trying to demonstrate, like, no, we can see exactly where it went and recover it for you. Freeze it, recover your PSC before it's exchanged for US dollars. So that the education piece, the transparency piece, that's been going very well. Our use cases, demonstrating our ability to move small cash amounts from user to user. That's a big thing in Palau, where culturally it's community based. So for large family type life events, the community always comes together, and it's 500 people each giving $10-$20 that helps pay for funeral costs or someone's house or a newborn child, those expenses. And so this shows, like, instead of someone going around with an envelope collecting $10, $20 from different people and writing it down in a little green book to keep track of who gave what, you can do it all online with your phone from the comfort of your home with minimal internet access. So on the topic of internet access, that's one thing that a lot of people have been commenting on the videos that I posted of the transactions. Why is it taking 20, 30 seconds to process? It should be 1 or 2 seconds. I absolutely agree, but Wi-Fi on a small island is not what you have in more built up infrastructure. And so we're looking at that, and it's one of those things, like a lot of this type of technology will drive other technology to get better to support it. And so from whether it's moving from 4G is the best there is in Palau right now, and Wi-Fi signal is probably DSL plus quality, and this will drive, if every Palauan is using PSC, they're going to be asking the government, why can't the network be better so that my transactions go through faster?
Now, is there any token supply? We're used to, in the crypto space, reviewing white papers when we go to look at whether or not we should invest in a project. Is there any token supply or tokenomics that we're starting out with on this stablecoin?
No, not that I know of. No, we don't have any XRP. We're using strictly we're so all we're doing for this pilot is the proof of concept that the solution design works, that you're able to move money in a secure manner. The beauty of it is you can take our solution design to any other country and scale it. So there's huge potential. I mean, there's projects I think in Japan now, Montenegro, Bhutan, some of those that have been announced, and so it's pretty much taking what we've been studying for the last year and innovating, doing some more innovation, and then making it work within the confines of the regulations and laws of the host nation.
Jay, you mentioned Japan there. Have you heard something that I haven't heard? I didn't know that Japan had a project in regards to a CBDC yet.
It's not a CBDC. They're doing some type of I think it's like a tokenization project or something like that,
Is that
I
with the
believe.
Bank of Japan?
I'd have to go back and clarify.
Okay. We'll double check that. I know that they got the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Bank of Montenegro, like you said, and
Mhm.
Bhutan as well. And the most recent numbers that we have is 5 that have been announced, 5 that haven't been announced, and then discussions with 20 plus. And so when you said Japan, I thought maybe you had heard something that I hadn't heard yet. But that's awesome. Okay, and like you said, this is going to be a pilot or a test that can be scaled up and taken to other countries. We're already using the U.S. dollar in this stablecoin pilot, but
Right.
obviously you have Bank of Montenegro, some of these others. They're going to be looking to potentially create a euro-backed stablecoin, right? Something along those lines. So how excited?
The fiat is it's fiat uh, agnostic, I guess. It doesn't matter. It's whatever the financial institution wants to tokenize and move across the network.
Does is there any excitement from Ripple? I mean, does it seem like they're excited to see how well this test goes because maybe they have some other stuff they're working on as well?
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the team is just we've been working at this for the better part of a year now. So it's just to actually see the solution design being put into practice and uh, seeing that it works, of course, is always great news. But the thing about Ripple, they're just really they're great to work with. They're very patient. They're um, they're like I said, there wasn't a lot of knowledge or technical expertise in Palau. I'm a cybersecurity expert by trade, so I don't have a lot of fintech experience aside from the little cryptocurrency that I messed with before. I don't own any XRP or anything like that, but they went through and did this really intense training with us and brought a very small team together, gave us the tools and expertise we needed, where we're administering the program um, at a pretty high level of confidence and competence.
Now, I think that you had mentioned, and you knew I was going to ask this one: is has Palau added any XRP to their balance sheet? Is that something that they are considering?
So yeah, the big hurdle for us right now, especially in the digital asset space, is we don't have a regulation. Like I said, anything with the government, we have to have a regulation. Our financial institutions commission is working on the regulation. So once it's published, we're looking forward to seeing what it contains and how we can the move forward with our current objectives.
And then I wanted to ask if you guys had talked with Ripple about implementing any sort of privacy or anonymity to these transactions, because To your point, I think it's great that you guys have done this on the public mainnet to be transparent. And I think that any country or bank or company, corporation that does this is going to give themselves an advantage in the marketplace by being so transparent. I think this is what the people across the planet want across the board, right? Is that type of transparency. But obviously, maybe not everybody wants their grocery bill to be on the public mainnet. So any conversations on the privacy anonymity part of these transactions with Ripple?
Yes. So one of the goals of this, or actually the end state of the pilot, is to take all of the different recommendations and possibilities, and we're going to go through them and make recommendations to the Congress and the president. And it's up to them if we continue either with another pilot in a larger scale with maybe an opt-in for public or private ledger, and then what the regulation around that and the monitoring is going to look like, and then where we go from there, what we do with PSE, and hopefully the program continues, because I mean we're showing that the feedback from the volunteers who have been using it has been it's been positive across the board. Aside from hey, it's really slow on my phone, or maybe they have an older phone, so taking a picture of the QR code from the app didn't work, but they were able to take a picture with their regular camera and it pulled up the wallet. Just little workarounds like that. But they're everyone's figuring it out. It's new and it's innovative. But the bottom line is the underlying technology works, and it's something that we can build off of. Sky's the limit.
And so in regards to that timeline on scaling things up, do you have any tentative dates on when you guys are going to review how this pilot's gone and then consider scaling up? What I think is exciting is, if we are going to ramp this up to production, we are talking, like I said, your population's at about 18,000. So we're not talking about having to onboard millions and millions of people, right? So what is the timeline for that expectations?
So we're running the pilot through the end of August, or if everyone spends their PSE, which we hope they do sooner, so that we can start. We're going to have our first survey go out to the volunteers and the retailers next week to get their feedback, looking for information. Like how did they like the wallet? How was the onboarding process for the wallet? Was it too complicated? Was or too simple? Would you like to see more features, etc.? And then we want to have our report wrapped up by the first or second week of September. I've already been drafting and building it with the Ripple project managers. So we get it to the president and the Congress. Hopefully they say, hey, go to phase 2, more volunteers, more retailers, and if they can open it up and we can test this at a larger scale, 1,000 people would be great. 10,000 would be better. There's 18,000 people living in Palau, but then there's another I think 30 to 40,000 Palauans who live abroad, and so the remittance piece of that and the cross-border transfer of money is a big thing that we'd like to test. It works. I send PSE back and forth to Palau from Florida, and it works, no problems. Then we also have our digital residents. There's I think by the end of this month, August, we'll have around 10,000 digital residents. We'd like to give them the opportunity to test PSE as well, and then open it up to possible future use cases where tourists or people visiting Palau, instead of taking fiat with them or going to Palau and immediately looking for an ATM so they can get cash, they can go online and just exchange their dollars, euros, yen, what have you, for PSE, spend PSE in Palau for their dives, their hotels, their restaurant meals, things of that nature, their arts and crafts, storyboards, souvenirs, and then they leave. It's a smaller carbon footprint. It's more versatile. It's more convenient, and just all around good for the country and for the ecosystem.
That's awesome. Now, I wanted to wrap up with one last question on the XRP community. So, obviously, us in the XRP community, we're known to be a little bit crazy, and we are so excited to see banks and institutions starting to use XRP, and we're always trying to find the next connection, partnership, and to see these projects and pilots going live is really awesome. And I think that you're, setting forth a standard that the rest of the world's going to be able to take a look at and consider. And I think that they do have a winning technology and one of the best companies. It's, exactly what I expected to hear when you talked on working with Ripple and how helpful they are. And so I do think that that is fantastic. But I did want to just ask, what's your initial take and thoughts on the XRP community? I'm sure everyone's been DMing you, tagging you, and you've probably grown a bunch of followers on Twitter recently. How's that been?
No, I mean, it's I'm glad for the interest. I mean, it helps bring some light and attention on what we're trying to do in Palau, and it's good for the fintech community because we're always trying to look for a better way. I'm not a big fan of the Western unions and the other means of MoneyGram and all that stuff. They charge too much money. I mean, to send $1,000, you're going to charge me $20, like for what? And now that I know the inner workings of this technology, I mean, they're really making a lot of money off the backs of people who are trying to be more international and multinational. I relay this in one of the other interviews. When my mother passed away, it was during COVID, and I was trying to help my sister out, and I sent her pretty significant amount of money, and the fastest way to get it to her was Western Union, and they charged me almost 25% fee on top of that, and it was that was kind of an eye opener. So when I learned about stablecoin and what we were trying to do with it, I was excited because I was like, this is there's goodness in this, and Ripple's the right partner. The XRP community is the absolute right support group for it, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Well, I can tell you that we will be behind you 100%. We're very excited. And Jay, I just want to thank you once again for coming on the show here today, providing us this insight, and make sure everybody that you guys go follow Jay on Twitter. We will be supporting you the whole way, and we're very excited to see where this goes. And maybe if it all goes well, we'll get you back on the show and we can talk about stage 2. So thank you for coming on, Jay.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. On the way out, if you guys could do me a favor, please smash that thumbs up and make sure that you subscribed and hit that notification bell. And we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.